Then you need to have your list available to you. You can use your calculator. Next one's 121. I know 121 doesn't go away. I know 100 doesn't. I wouldn't try 81 because I can do my math in my head. I would try 64 because if there's 4 and that ends in a 0. I've done this too often. Okay, so how many times? We got a 36 times a 5. Anybody use a 9? Okay, so what if that would be 9 times what, Owen? Yep, 20. So either one of these you might use, and we're going to end up with the same answer. You can do both of them. So if I do the square root of 36, I'm going to get a 6, and I'll be finished. That one's done. Yay. If I did this one, Owen, what does the 9 come out as? And you left with a 20. But the 20, one of these numbers will go into 20. Which one? Right, so I'll break down the 20 to a 4 times a 5. What comes out, Owen? Right, so you have your 3 out there. You bring another 2 out there. The 4 5 got left. Same answer. Just took a little longer. All right? And doing this process the longer way doesn't hurt you because you actually get more practice at the procedure. You just have to remember that you have to keep going until you hit like this 5. None of these numbers will go into 5. That's why I got to stop at the 5. All right? Don't be afraid of it. A time sign. Just like with exponents, when you had exponents like this, can somebody tell me what the answer to this exponent problem would be, Bobby? Yeah, x to the 5th. Because when you're multiplying, now what if I added them, Bobby? Can I add these two together? No, cannot, because they're not like terms. Not, cannot add. You can't add, but you could multiply them. It's the same thing with square roots. We can multiply these, but we could not add them. If they were a square root of 5 and a square root of 10, you can't add them. But with multiplication, you can definitely get a 50. 5 times 10 is 50. And now it's what we just learned. So with multiplication, you can multiply them. Now let's go over here. What is a perfect square of a 10 that will go into 50? I'm going to put the 25 in there and times by 2, because 25 times 2 is 50. So the 25 will come out as what, Lane? Yep, and leave the 2. There's your answer. So this problem had an extra step. You need to multiply your numbers together and then do the problem. You had, again, you'd look at it and go, okay, I can multiply those. Michael, what do you get? Right, so the square root of 40, and now you break it down, looking at your perfect squares. Veronica, what's a perfect square that will go into there? One we wanted to hear about. So the 4 is the perfect square, and it happens to be times, yep, so I'm going to bring the 2 out, leave the 4 little 10 in there, and that one's finished. Now let the multiplying trade off. Now the other thing we need to talk about is how do you deal with variables. So I'm going to start off with a very basic one. I'm going to do x to the 2nd. Anybody remember the Pythagorean theorem? We kind of did this, but we already mentioned it. If you finished your Pythagorean theorem by showing the square root, we talked about this as completing the square, what would this answer be? What do you think, James? When you threw the square root of the c at the end, what would come out of the c squared? Remember, McKenna? It would be. And the reason is, just like when you have the square root of 49, that's really 7 times 7, and the answer is 7. Well, this is really x times x. So it comes out as an x. Just like those 7s came out as a 7, the x's come out as an x. For the same reason. So I tell people it takes 2 inside to get 1 outside. So if you go like this, and we have like x to the 10th, for every 2 that are on the inside, 1 comes out. So, Kelsey, any idea what this answer will be? X to the, how many sets of 2 can come out of 10? Correct. The because the long version of this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those two, that's 1x, 2 x's, 3 x's, 4 x's, 5 x's. That's the x to the fifth. Get that out. Other one, Owen. And realize if it's an odd number, yes, so it's something like 13, what's going to happen, do you think? Do you think all the x's are going to get out? How many's going to be left? If it was a 12, it'd be x to the 6, and you'd be finished. Since the 13 is a leftover guy, so what ends up happening, your final answer turns out to be an x, and then this will be x to the 6 on the outside. That's what it'll look like. Because 12 of them got out as the x to the 6, do you agree, Bowen? But that 13th guy did not get out. So if I had written them and circled them in pairs, I would have had one left over. The leftover guy got left inside. So that's what happens with all. There can only be one leftover inside like that. Number 10. Let's say x to the 7th. That answer. What do you think, Bobby? Correct. What happened is 6 of them got out, but 1 got left inside because it was that extra odd one in there. Now this can be done with multiple letters at the same time. So we can go to another problem, and I could put a bunch of letters in here. I could say A to the 4th, B to the 7th, C to the 8th. And you're just going to treat all of them like we did the x's. You're just going to have a lot of stuff that gets out, and maybe a lot of stuff that stays in. Who knows? What do you think, Eric? A to the what on the outside? Are there any A's left inside? Okay, what about the B's? Any B's left on the inside? How many? Yep, what about the C's? The 4th, any left on the inside? Nope, so there's your answer. This is just a bit more letters involved. But it doesn't get any harder, it's just more of them to deal with. So what about if they throw a number in there? They take those skills and apply them at the same time. What's the square root of 4? Kelsey? All right, so the 4 is going to come out as a 2. And what about the b to the 8, Courtney? What do you think? Correct? And there won't be anything left inside. That's it. Got the 4 got out because it was a perfect square, and the b to the 8 was an even number, so they all got out. So there's your answer. What's the square root of 4? And the b to the 4th was the b to the 8th, just like we've been doing up here with the number in half, maybe. Okay, let me think of what other. So if you, I think that's all I have. Okay, so last one. Try this one. Okay, 25 into the 7th. The 7th. Into the 3rd. R to the 20th. Okay, so what do you think, James? Yep, 5's on the outside. What about M to the what? Yep, any M's left on the inside? Okay, N. Yes, and how many N's left inside? Okay, R to the, any N, R's left in there? Nope, there's your answer.